Most people know what they should do. They just don't do it. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack motivation, not because they don't have access to the right information. In 2026, information has never been more available. They fail because they haven't built the right habits, and habits are not built through motivation. They are built through daily repetition, through deliberate practice, through the kind of discipline that most people talk about, but almost nobody actually lives. Marcus Aurelius was not born disciplined. He was not born stoic. He was not born with an exceptional mind. He built it every single day for decades with these 7 habits. And the result was one of the most powerful, most resilient, most psychologically sophisticated minds in human history. These are the habits. Follow them and they will change your mind forever. Habit 1. Start every day before the world starts you. Marcus Aurelius woke up before everyone else, not to be productive, to be intentional. Before any external demand could reach him, before any news could shape his thinking, before anyone else's agenda could colonize his attention, he sat with his own mind and decided who he was going to be that day. He asked himself 3 questions. What kind of person do I want to be today? Where am I most likely to fall short of my own values? What will I absolutely not tolerate from myself? 3 minutes. Every single morning. Before the phone, before the news, before anyone else's priorities had a chance to become his. Modern neuroscience calls this implementation intention. Research from New York University shows that when you decide in advance how you will behave in specific situations, your brain literally wires itself to follow through. The decision is made before the moment of temptation arrives. The response is automatic. Marcus was rewiring his brain every morning 2,000 years before neuroscience had a name for what he was doing. The practical application is simple. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before you check any notification, take 3 minutes and write 3 sentences. Who do you want to be today? Where will you be tested? What will you not compromise on? Those 3 sentences are the difference between a day that happens to you and a day that you actually live. Habit 2. See every obstacle as an opportunity in disguise. Marcus wrote in his private journal, words he never intended anyone to read. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is one of the most radical ideas in the history of human philosophy. And it's not a metaphor. It's a trained mental reflex that Marcus Aurelius practiced every single day. Most people experience obstacles as interruptions, as evidence that things are going wrong, as reasons to slow down, to complain, to give up. Marcus experienced them as material. Every single problem he faced, and as emperor of Rome, he faced more problems than almost any human being in history: wars, plagues, betrayals, political crises. He looked at it and asked one question. What does this make possible that wouldn't have been possible otherwise? Because every obstacle does make something possible. Resilience that comfort could never build. Creativity that certainty would never demand. Character that easy circumstances could never forge. The obstacle reveals what you're made of. And if you're paying attention, it makes you more of it. The practical shift is this. The next time something goes wrong, and something will go wrong today, pause before you react. Ask yourself one question. What can I use here? Not what can I complain about? What can I use? That question transforms the entire experience of adversity, not into something painless, into something purposeful. Habit 3. Protect your attention like your life depends on it. Because it does. Marcus Aurelius never multitasked. In a world of constant political demands, military crises, administrative decisions, he gave complete, undivided attention to whatever was in front of him at any given moment. One person, one problem, one decision, one conversation at a time. He wrote, confine yourself to the present. Not yesterday's mistakes, not tomorrow's uncertainties, this moment, this task, this person. Stanford University research published in 2009 showed that chronic multitasking physically shrinks the anterior cingulate cortex, the region of the brain responsible for focus and emotional regulation. Every time you split your attention between two things, you are literally making your brain worse at focusing on either of them. The modern world is designed to fragment your attention. Every notification, every tab, every platform is engineered to pull you away from whatever you're doing and towards something else. And every time you follow that pull, you are giving away a piece of the only thing that is truly yours. Marcus protected his attention the way a warrior protects his weapon. Without it, nothing else works. With it, everything becomes possible. The practice. For the next 7 days, do one thing at a time. Close every tab except the one you need. Put your phone in another room. Give whoever you're with your complete attention for the duration of the conversation. Notice what happens to the quality of your thinking, your work, and your relationships. Habit 4. Choose discomfort on purpose every single day. This is the habit most people skip, and it is the one that changes everything else. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He had access to every luxury the ancient world could provide. The finest food, the most comfortable living conditions, every pleasure that money and power could buy. And he regularly chose cold. He chose hunger. He chose hard physical labor. He chose discomfort, deliberately, consciously, on purpose. Not because he had to, but because he understood something that most people never learn. Comfort makes the mind soft. Discomfort makes it strong. Every time you choose the hard thing when the easy thing is available, you are building a specific mental muscle. The muscle that says, I am in control of myself, not my impulses, not my cravings, not my desire for ease, me. That muscle is not built in moments of comfort. It is built exclusively in moments of resistance. And once it exists, it changes how you respond to every difficult thing you face. Modern research on what psychologists call ego strength confirms exactly what Marcus understood intuitively. People who regularly practice voluntary discomfort, cold exposure, fasting, hard physical training, deliberate restraint, show significantly higher levels of self-regulation, emotional resilience, and long-term goal achievement. Start small. Take a cold shower tomorrow morning. Skip a meal once a week. Do the difficult task first instead of last. Say no to something comfortable that you don't actually need. Every act of chosen discomfort is a vote for the person you are becoming. Habit 5. Review your day with complete honesty every night. Every single night, Marcus Aurelius sat down and reviewed his day, not to celebrate his successes, not to beat himself up over his failures, to learn. He asked himself 3 questions. Where did I act against my own values today? Where did I allow external events to control my emotional state? What will I do differently tomorrow? This practice, this nightly audit of the self, is what converts raw experience into genuine wisdom. Without reflection, you repeat the same patterns indefinitely. You make the same mistakes, react to the same triggers, fall short of the same standards, week after week, year after year. With reflection, every single day becomes a lesson, and the compounding effect of that learning over months and years is staggering. Think about what Marcus Aurelius became: the philosopher, king, the most admired leader in Roman history, the author of one of the most psychologically sophisticated texts ever written. He didn't get there through exceptional talent. He got there through thousands of nightly reviews that turned every ordinary day into material for growth. The practice is simple. Before you sleep tonight, spend 5 minutes with these 3 questions. Where did I compromise my values today? Where did I react instead of respond? What will I do differently tomorrow? Write the answers. Don't judge them, just see them clearly. That clarity is the beginning of everything. Habit 6. Use the awareness of death as your compass. Marcus Aurelius thought about death every single day. This is not morbid, it is not pessimistic, it is the most practical philosophy ever developed. He called it memento mori. Remember that you will die, and he used that memory every single morning to cut through everything trivial that might otherwise consume his attention. When you hold your mortality in your awareness, something extraordinary happens. The petty argument loses its grip. The need for approval shrinks. The hour spent on meaningless scrolling becomes unbearable. And the things that actually matter, the people you love, the work that means something, the experiences you've been postponing, become urgent, not eventually, now. Terror management theory, one of the most robust findings in modern psychology, shows that most human behavior is driven by unconscious attempts to avoid thinking about death. We build monuments, chase status, stay constantly busy, all as a way of feeling immortal. Marcus chose the opposite. He looked at death directly. He made peace with it. And in doing so, he was freed from the invisible terror that drives most human behavior. He could ask clearly every morning, if this were my last day, would I spend it the way I'm planning to spend it? Use death as your compass. It points always toward what actually matters. Habit 7. Treat every single person you meet as your teacher. This is perhaps the most underestimated habit on this list, and it may be the most powerful. Marcus Aurelius believed genuinely, practically, not as a performance, that every person he encountered had something to teach him, friend or enemy, senator or servant, ally or betrayer. He approached every interaction with authentic curiosity about what he might learn from this specific person in this specific moment, not as a technique, as a genuine practice of humility and attention. This habit does something very specific to the brain. It activates what neuroscientists call the default mode network, the system responsible for empathy, social understanding, and creative thinking. People who consistently practice perspective taking, who genuinely try to understand how the world looks from another person's position, develop measurably more complex neural architecture in the regions associated with emotional intelligence. Marcus Aurelius became one of the greatest leaders in human history, not despite this habit, because of it, because a leader who learns from everyone becomes more capable than a leader who only learns from people he considers worth learning from. The practice, in your next conversation, ask one genuine question about how the other person sees things, not to be polite, because you actually want to know. Notice what you learn. Notice how the conversation changes. 7 habits, intentional mornings, obstacles as material, protected attention, chosen discomfort, honest nightly review, the compass of mortality, and radical curiosity about every person you meet. These are not motivational ideas. They are not philosophical abstractions. They are a daily operating system for the human mind, tested over 2,000 years, confirmed by modern neuroscience, and proven by the life of one of the greatest human beings who ever lived. You don't have to implement all 7 tomorrow. Start with 1. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, spend 3 minutes deciding who you are going to be today. That single habit, practiced daily for 30 days, will change your mind in ways you cannot yet imagine. If this gave you something useful, subscribe. Every week, we go deeper into the ancient wisdom and modern psychology that actually changes how you think. The books that inspired this video are linked in the description. See you in the next one.